It's the middle of the night in the Soviet Union's Ural Mountains. The air is cool and still, and two passenger trains wind their way through the endless forest. But hidden in the valley ahead is a ticking time bomb. Nobody on board has any idea they are seconds away from a catastrophe so massive it will go down as one of the deadliest rail disasters in history. This is the story of the Ufa train disaster. The 4th of June 1989, Ufa, Russia, the Soviet Union. It is 1:15 in the morning, and inside the carriages of two passenger trains, the rhythm of wheels on tracks is almost hypnotic. Passengers sleep, read, or talk quietly under the dim glow of overhead lights. On one line, train 211 is heading towards Adler, a resort town on the Black Sea. On the other, train 212 is travelling in the opposite direction, from Adler to Novosibirsk. Aboard both trains are a combined total of 1,370 people. Not far from the tracks, up ahead a gas pipeline runs parallel, carrying essential natural gas needed for modern infrastructure across the region. Earlier, workers had noticed something odd. The pressure in the line had dropped, not by much, just a small dip, one that could be explained away by temperature changes or routine fluctuations. They decide it's nothing serious and pump more gas into the pipe. But unknown to them, out there in the forest, a section of the pipe has split open. A thin jet of pressurised natural gas sprays from a crack, and since it is heavier than air, instead of dissipating into the atmosphere, and with very little wind recently, the gas builds up, silently spreading and pooling in the low ground, forming an invisible cloud across the tracks. Thick forest rises on both sides, trapping it like a bowl, directly in the path of the approaching trains. Both 211 and 212 approach from opposite directions. Each more than a dozen carriages long, they are now travelling straight into the centre of the invisible gas cloud. The air is still. Then, in an instant, both trains enter the valley, one from each side. The pressure waves from their movement swirl the air, mixing and disturbing the trapped gas. All that is needed to ignite it is a single spark. With the contact of metal wheels on metal tracks, this is not far away from happening. As the trains pass, it happens. Ignition. No one will know for certain exactly where it comes from, maybe a break, an electrical arc, or even static from the rails, but it's enough. A blinding flash erupts from beneath the tracks, the valley itself exploding. A massive fireball engulfs both trains, carriages are thrown into the air, metal buckling, windows shattering, people burning. The explosion is so huge, it looks like a nuclear bomb has been detonated. The shockwave flattens the surrounding forest and sends a roaring wall of flame racing outwards. Inside the trains, chaos. The explosion hits with no warning. Passengers are ripped from their seats and beds as metal and glass rains down around them. It is as if the air itself turns to fire. The heat in areas reaches over 1500 degrees C. The interior ignites instantly. Both train 211 and train 212 are destroyed within seconds. The first cars are reduced to ash, while dozens behind them burn fiercely. Their outlines glowing red against the dark night, the forest blazes around them. From the nearby town of Asher, a bright orange glow fills the horizon, and a dark smoke rises like a mushroom cloud. Fire, police, and medical teams race to help. When rescuers finally reach the site, they find a scene of utter devastation. Rails twisted, sleepers melted, and train carriages scattered in every direction. Survivors stumble out of the smoking carriages, many severely burned. Others wander around the immediate area completely in shock, calling out names, searching for their families in the chaos. Some are seen with burned skin hanging from their bodies. Ambulances ferry the injured to hospitals in nearby towns. Doctors and nurses work through the night, many overwhelmed by the sheer number of burn victims. By morning, the full scale of the disaster can be seen. The scene looks like a battlefield, scorched earth, melted wreckage strewn around, and a deep black crater where the explosion occurred. The shockwave was so powerful it flattened trees for hundreds of meters in every direction, and sent whole train carriages weighing multiple tons scattering as if they are children's toys. The death toll is huge. The official figure is 575, with a further 725 injured. However, some estimate it to be as high as 780 dead. Although a horrific event, the disaster is not as widely reported on as would be expected, as it happened on the same day as another event unfolding thousands of kilometers away, in Beijing, China, when news outlets across the globe are dominated by the brutal crackdown in Tiananmen Square, where the Chinese military opened fire on protesters. The scale of that event consumes every headline and broadcast, overshadowing the Ufa disaster. As a result, one of the deadliest peacetime explosions in history goes almost unnoticed outside the Soviet Union. While cameras capture the chaos in Beijing, few realise that on the very same day, 2 trains in Russia are obliterated in a fireball so powerful it was close to rivaling the power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. By the afternoon of June the 4th, with smoke still rising from the valley, soldiers and investigators sift through the debris, searching for answers. Locals whisper of sabotage, but most officials quickly conclude the cause was accidental. What the investigation finds reveals a pattern of negligence and systemic failure. The gas pipeline running alongside the tracks was built originally to carry oil, and had been converted to gas. They uncover, both during and after this work was carried out, a hurried work culture and lack of safety measures put in place. Originally, the pipeline had been designed with a leak detection system, but this had been removed when it was switched to carrying gas, as it was thought it wouldn't be needed, as gas doesn't sink into the ground like oil does. When pressure in the line fell on the day of the explosion, engineers didn't search for a leak, they simply increased the pressure, forcing more gas into the rupture. The cause wasn't sabotage, it was neglect. The leader of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, linking it to a pattern of similar incidents across the country, said, "I have to say this, I believe we are being persecuted by these events, first one, then another. Many of them are caused by mismanagement, irresponsibility and disorganisation." He visited the scene himself and described it as a real hell. When the passenger cars are removed from the site, not all of them are found, as some were reduced to such small fragments. 9 people found to be responsible are charged for their part. The maximum penalty is 5 years in prison. Let me know in the comments section what you thought of this disaster, and give the video a like if you found it interesting. Make sure to subscribe if you want to catch future episodes as soon as I upload them, and I'll see you all next time.